Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we're diving deep into the latest global polycarbonate market trends for the second week of August 2026. Look, if you're navigating the wild world of polymer procurement, you already know how fast these markets can turn on a dime, right? So, our goal today is simple. We're going to cut right through the noise and give you a clear, structured look at exactly what's happening globally right now. Let's get you set up to make the smartest purchasing decisions possible. Now, all the data we're looking at today comes straight from the latest Polymer Bazaar weekly report. These guys are all about three things: price, prediction, and profit. By tapping into their on-the-ground intel, we're bringing you a highly accurate snapshot of global pricing, where the market's heading, and how you can position yourself to maximize profit in the coming weeks. So, let's get right into the big question. How exactly are global polycarbonate markets performing right now? Well, to be honest, we're seeing a pretty sluggish period across the board. But what's really fascinating is how different regions are reacting to this slowdown. We're going to trace the global supply chain step by step, starting from raw materials all the way down to regional retail pricing, just to map out the current state of play. Section 1, Introduction and Feedstock Baseline. All right, the absolute crucial starting point for our baseline today is the PC feedstock, bisphenol A. Right now, this essential building block is sitting right at 9,450 RMB per metric ton. You got to keep this number in mind, because it literally sets the floor for global production costs. Even when demand is totally flat, this feedstock price acts as a heavy anchor for all the finished polycarbonate pricing we're about to look at. Section 2, Western markets, the USA and Europe. This really paints a picture of a shared mood across the West. Both regions are dealing with some notably sluggish conditions right now. Over in the US, demand is officially being called dull, even though they have zero feedstock issues holding them back. Meanwhile, across the pond in Europe, demand is similarly weak. But here's the catch. European converters are actively lowering their imports to deal with it. Yet, despite nobody really wanting to buy in either region, prices are surprisingly stable. Let's look closer. Zooming in on the USA Bazaar, we're seeing absolute stability in the numbers. Even with that dull demand we just mentioned, free-on-board U.S. Gulf Coast prices are holding totally steady at 98 cents a pound. And injection molding grades, completely unchanged at 102 cents a pound. It's kind of like a giant standoff right now. Buyers aren't buying, but sellers definitely aren't dropping their prices yet either. And we're seeing a nearly identical staring contest over in the Europe Bazaar. Prices are incredibly flat, even with weak demand and those dropping import levels from converters. Extrusion grades are holding firm at 1,800 euros per metric ton, and general-purpose molding grades haven't budged an inch from 2,050 euros per metric ton. Basically, the Western markets are just holding their breath. Moving on to Section 3, Eastern markets, China and India. Now, this is where things get really interesting. There's a major behavioral shift happening in China. Unlike the West, there is a very real chance that supply here could actually shrink. Normally, you'd think that would spark a buying panic, right? Well, no. Buyers are stubbornly refusing to build up their inventories. They're strictly operating on a need basis, buying only the bare minimum to keep the lights on. And because of this massive hesitation, we're actually seeing reduced stock levels at some retail spots in the Chinese market. Shifting our focus to the Indian Bazaar, we're noticing a slight regional variance in their domestic market, looking at the ex-GST prices. Down in Mumbai, prices are hovering right between 213 and 216 rupees per kilogram. Meanwhile, up north in Delhi, pricing is tracking just a tiny bit higher, sitting between 217 and 220 rupees per kilo. Section 4, Buying Pulses and Recommendation. So, taking a step back, the overall buying pulse of this market is incredibly subdued across every key sector. It's a heavily need-based bazaar no matter where you look this week. And the tension here is wild. Domestic inventories are relatively low almost everywhere, which usually triggers a massive buying spree. But buying interest is just absolutely flat. Because of this bizarre stalemate, spot prices simply are not moving. They are stable with practically zero fluctuation. And that brings us to the ultimate bottom line recommendation from the Polymer Bazaar report. Because purchasing is so intensely dull on a global scale right now, the pressure on sellers is really starting to mount. The report points out that traders might actually be forced to slash their retail prices very soon just to get things moving again, which leads directly to their core advice for you this week. Stick exclusively to need-based purchases. Seriously, do not overstock right now. Play it safe. Section 5, the Polymer Bazaar chatbot. To help you monitor these potential price drops, you really need to be using the Polymer Bazaar WhatsApp chatbot. This is a total game changer designed to save you a ton of time. It gives you instant 24/7 access to real-time polymer pricing, market news, price revisions, and even official company price lists. The best part? It delivers all this intel directly into your chat in under 5 seconds. That means you have reliable, actionable market data literally anywhere you go. Getting set up is an absolute breeze. First, just save this number to your contacts. +91 93746 24365. Once that's saved, open up WhatsApp, shoot them a message with just the letters PC, and boom, you're done. You will instantly start receiving these crucial market updates right on your phone. As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a critical question to chew on for your strategy this week. Given that global demand is this uniquely weak and buyers everywhere are stubbornly refusing to build inventory despite low stocks, are we on the absolute verge of a major retail price drop as traders finally cave to the pressure? Or is a sudden, totally unexpected market shift waiting just around the corner? For now, stick to your need-based purchasing, keep your eyes glued to that real-time data, and let's see how this global standoff ends. See you next time.